I would
This
like to show
conference will
you
now be recorded.
the connectivity of EC2 instance by using another way. Okay, so as of now, we have seen the connectivity of EC2 machine by using git bash. Right? So let me show you the other method to connect our machines by using putty. Putty is a tool. With the help of putty, we can connect our EC2 instances. Right? So multiple methods, multiple ways to connect the instances. Right? So now if you want to connect the putty with the help of the putty to connect our EC2 servers, nothing but the instances, first we require is the tool called putty in our mission. Okay. So now here, go to the Google and go to the site called putty.org. Putty.org is the site. From the site, we can download the putty tools.
Okay.
So now here you can see download putty. Now here you can see a option called here. You can download the putty here. Click on here. Then we can see here sections, package file section, alternative binary file section. Go to the alternative binary file section. From that, the first one, putty.exe. Download the putty.exe. Based on our workstation operating system bits, either the 32-bit or 64. Usually, our systems are running with the 64-bit. So select this one, putty.exe, so that it is going to download into your local machine, nothing but the workstation, like this. Right. So now putty tool is downloaded into my local. Then we required one more tool called puttygen. If I scroll down, last but one, puttygen.exe. Same, this is also download into your local. So I'm going to select the 64-bit one, click on here. So now here, what is the purpose of putty and what is the purpose of puttygen? Right. So usually, whenever we have created a missions, okay, I mean to say whenever we are going to create a servers on the AWS side, so the key will be the .pm file, right? So whatever the mission you are going to launch, for that you are going to attach a key, something like that. So usually the key will be in the format .pm file. So if I go to my downloads location, likewise .pm file. We know, right? While launching the instance, is going to ask you to enter the key or create a key. So now the key, whatever the key we are going to generate or whatever the key we are going to take, that will be in the form of .pm file. So now here the putty won't understand the .pm file. Putty cannot understand that format. Now the understandable format for the putty is .ppk file. So now here, what are the PEM file we are going to generate? The private key, PEM is nothing but a private key. The private key will be in the form of PEM file. That will not be understandable by the putty. Now the putty understandable format is ppk file. So now here, the private key has to be converted into the ppk. Then only we can use the key, the private key, and we can connect the instance by using putty. So this is the process we need to follow usually. So now who is going to convert the file from PEM to PPK? Who is going to convert? The converter is our putty generator, puttygen. So now this tool we are going to use only one time. The one time is nothing but converting the PEM to PPK. That's it. Then we can leave the generator. We don't require the generator no more. So now here, for a use case, I am going to launch an instance. Then I'm going to select one of the OS. Just OS selection is required. Rest of the steps can be ignored. Simply click on review and launch. Then click on launch. Now here, I'm not going to choose an existing key one. I'm going to create a new key pair. So now here Shankar sample key. Some name I have given. So now here it is going to tell you it will be in the .pm file, the private key. Okay, fine. Download. Now the file, whatever the file I have chosen here with the file, the .pm file is going to download. We know very well this one. Scroll down. Now you can see launch instance. Click on the launch instance. Done. Right now the instance is going to launch. Now to connect the instance, we require the key called Shankar sample key. This instance. Now here I would like to use the putty tool to connect the instance, not with the git bash. Git bash is a straightforward method. Simply copy the command and paste it to the git bash. That's it, right? We know that one. So now here when I want to use the putty, there the putty won't understand the .pm file. So there I require to convert the pem to ppk. So now what I will do, I will open the putty generator first. Putty gen. Double click on it. This. Now we can see the putty generator is open. So now here there is a button called load. Click on the load an existing private key file. Yes, we have the existing key. So select the load. Then go to the downloads. Now here the observation is by default it will look for the .ppk file, but our file is .pm, right? So now here change this one to all files. Otherwise the .pm file will not be displayed here. So now here you can see Shankar sample key .pm. Whatever the file, whatever the key just now I created, that can be found on the downloads directory. Select it, open, successfully imported the foreign key. Right. So when the moment we open the key, your generator will convert into the ppk. The file will be simply simply what we need to do here is click on OK, then save it. Load and save it. That's it. We don't need to do anything extra. Our job is to open the putty generator, load the private file, then click on save. So now I'm going to, it's not a public key, it is a private key. So now we need to save as a private key only. Save the private key. We want to ask you without a passphrase. Yes, go ahead. Then give some name. So for easy understanding, I'm going to use the same name, Shankar sample key. Now here I'm going to remove the .pm. That is up to us, the file name. But for easy understandable, I'm going to use the same name for my pem as well as my ppk. Now it's going to save in the form of ppk. The file name is Shankar sample key. Save it. That's it. Job done. Putty generator job is done. We don't require this putty anymore. Sorry, putty gen anymore. Simply close it. Now we can observe here there are two files. One is the .pm and the second one is the .ppk. Right. So now we can use the tool called putty to connect our servers. Right. So now here I will open the putty. So go to the download location and double click on it. Now here we require to enter the server host name or IP address. Right. So whatever the server you want to connect. So now I want to connect this server. Now I require the host name or the IP address. The IP address can be found for the server by going right side. You can find the public IP, or here the description option by default will be selected. Simply scroll down. You can find here. Anything is fine. From here you can pick it up, or from here you can pick it up. Copy. Right. So now this is the IP address of the particular instance. So now here go to the putty and give the IP address. This is the machine I would like to connect. So now here the machine is required the key, right? The private key is required. So now here I need to pass the private key also to connect this machine. So now here to pass the private key, go to the SSH section. So expand it. Then there you can find one more subsection called authorization. So now here don't expand, simply click on authorization. Then here you can find a browse option, private key file. Click on the browse. Then select the ppk, not the pem here, because the putty won't understand the .pm. Select the ppk, open, that's it. Click on open. Now it is going to ask us the username. So first time the finger scanning, click on yes. Now login as. Now we require the username to connect, default username. I don't know who is the guy I need to enter. So simply select, click on connect. Now here in the example, they will show you the username, EC2 user. So go to the putty again. Here enter EC2 user. That's it. So now here we have entered into the server. So likewise, by using putty, we can connect to our servers. So this is the process we need to follow. So not every time the PEM to PPK conversion is required, only one time. Then going forward, we can use the same file to connect n number of servers. Right. So now, tell me, sir, which one is the easiest one? The git bash one or the putty one?
This is the one.
This is the easiest for you rather than git bash?
Git
Okay.
bash actually I have used, sir, because like I'm using in my automation. So
Okay.
that's the problem. And like your class for GitHub is like more informative. So yeah, I don't
Thank
know
you,
how
sir.
to use putty like this. So I just blindly used in my previous roles. So I don't know how what actually it is. So
Okay. Okay. Fine. Cool. So now here, yeah. So one more thing here. So going forward, I am going to use the same process to connect my server. So by that time, what we can do, we can save the sessions. So now here, I'm going to click on new session. Some IP address I'm going to provide. Then here, I will go to the authentication and the file I'm going to select. Now I will go to the session section again. Here, I'm going to give sample some name instance. Right. So now here by seeing that I'm going to save this session, like the IP address and the auth key with the name sample instance. Save it. Now, whenever I want to connect the same machine, so I don't require to give the IP address, provide the PPK, simply sample instance, load, open. EC2 user. Likewise, you can save the sessions so that you can save the time. Simple. You can connect it. Every time it is not required to give the IP address and like that. But it will work when the instance IP remain static. If the IP is changed, then it is not going to work. In our case, the IP is going to change because today I started working on the Git. End of the day, what I am going to do, I am going to stop this server to save the hours. When the moment tomorrow I am going to start the mission, by that time the public IP is going to change, because the cloud folks, what they will do, whenever the server came back to their data center, that server is going to allocate to some other person. They don't want to play the server idle. Right? They are doing business. So now they will detach the volume and the server is going to allocate to some other person. When the moment I am going to start my instance, this volume is going to attach to some other server, whichever is free. That is allocated to us. Due to the reason, the IPs are going to keep on changing when you are going to stop and start the instances in the public cloud. Okay, right. So now if I save the session today with this IP, then tomorrow if I stop and start, it is not going to work because the IP is going to change. But for that also there is an alternate, right? So the alternate is the private IPs. So this is the public IP and this is the private IP. So now here what I'm going to do is copy, then I'm going to create a new session with the private IP, not with the public IP, private IP. Then I'm going to take the select, I mean to say select the private key. Then I will go back to my session. Then here I am going to give sample instance private key, some name for easy understandable. So go to the window, login session. This is the one somewhere SSH appearance. Okay, somewhere it has to ask me the username, that is also can be entered here. Connection, logical name of the remote host. Putty log. Okay, fine. So here I private IP I have given and the name I have given, and in the authentication tab I have selected the private key also. So now here click on the session and save it. Now close. Now I'm going to open the new session, private key, load, open. Okay, seems Putty not able to take the private key. We should go with the yes. Yeah. So Putty is not able to take the private key. We should go with the public key only. Okay, fine. So anyway, yeah. So anyway, this is the way of connecting the instances with the public IP with the private keys in the Putty. Right, sir. So now let's go to our Linux stuff. So I'm going to connect to one of the server. So this is the one which is running right now. Connect. I will take the key, copy. Then I will go to my git bash. I'm already in the downloads directory wherever my key is located. Okay. Just what exactly the OS will do, like inside the OS. So what are the sections will be there? Just for basic understanding, sir. It is not like a complete administration part. So now here this is the hardware like our hard disk. When the moment we install the OS on the hardware like the hard disk, the Linux will be having different layers. One is the kernel, and the second one is the shell, and the third one is our components. Right. So now here the kernel will play the major role on the Linux. So whatever the request being sent by the user, it will go to the kernel and the kernel to the end user. So now here the user nothing but like we people will try to send the request nothing but the Linux commands or some compilers or some applications, right? Applications are going to run on the Linux servers, right? So now anyone, either application is going to send a request or the compilers are going to send a request or the Linux commands are going to send a request to the kernel. So who will take care of the sending the request and responding back? The shell. Now the shell will take the request and will reach the kernel. From that it will pick it up and respond. So like so now here these are the three layers. If I take the Linux stuff, kernel, shell, and our components. It's simple. There is so much stuff is there. Just on a overview part. So now let's try to understand the Linux commands which are useful for us as a DevOps guy. Most of the time, what are the commands we are going to work? Those commands we are going to look at here. Right. So now here the basic understanding. First we'll see the basic understanding of the commands. So usually when we connect to any server, I would like to know where I am and which directory I am in. Right. So now when I go to the Windows OS, if someone asks me where this file is located, the location of the file. So then how we are going to tell? Simply we are going to select here so that it is going to show us the path D drive, Shankar, my DevOps material. In the same fashion, in the Linux, if you want to tell where you are, the location, for that pwd is the command. Present working directory. So right now we are in the I am in the root folder. So in Windows we are going to call as a folder. In Linux we are going to call as a directories. So now we are in the root directory. Right. So likewise, at any point of time, at any moment, you want to see where you are in, simply run the command pwd, present working directory. Right. So now here, who logged in? The user, right? I want to know who is the logged in, the person. I want to see the person who logged into the system. So for that, who am I? Root. Now the username is root. The root is logged into the current system. So likewise, I want to see the content inside the directory of root. Right now, root is a directory, nothing but a folder. I want to see the content of that particular directory. What is there inside the root? So for that, ls is the command. List. So in our Linux, these are the main commands. These are the main pwd, umi, ls. Now every command will be having an options. A huge amount of options we are going to have for every command. So right. So now going with the experience, by with the practice, we are going to see the options. Not like every option is required for us. When the moment required, based on that, we are going to look for the options. Right. So now here, ls is the command. It is going to show us what are the content, like what are the files and directories are present inside the root directory. Right. So now here you can observe here, DevOps repo is there. It is a directory. Ansible repo is there. It is a directory. Git merge is there. It is a directory. Git repo is there. It is also a directory. This is a file and this is a file. So how I am going to confirm that is a directory, this is a file? Suppose colors are there, blue, okay, directory, white, file. Suppose there is no color representation, everything is a white and black. Then how we are going to confirm whether it is a file or directory? There I am going to use the command options. The command is ls, list. With the list, I am going to use the options so that I am going to tell this is a file or this is a directory. Right. So ls, the option will be -l, long list. Long list is nothing but more information about the content. So right now we are going to see the brief. folder or directory. Now you are going to see more information. L, enter. So now the more information here, something is displaying here, and something is displayed here, and something is displayed here, and something is displayed here, apart from the content. Right. So now here the something is nothing but here the permission sets, and this is the owner information. Who created this directory or who created this file? The owner. And this is the group information. The owner is belongs to DevOps, or the owner is belongs to developer, or the owner is belongs to tester. Like the group name. So usually by default, if the owner is not belongs to any group, by default the same username is going to display as a group name also. Shankar, root, Rajesh, like that. Owner as well as the group default. Now this is the size. This is the size of the particular directory or file. The sizes. Now this is the date and time when the file is created. Okay, that is fine. Okay, I know the more information. But where is the option to confirm like where is the file or directory? How can I know? Right? That is what here the first character. In the more information, the first character is the one which is going to tell us whether it is a directory or file. If I see the hyphen, it is a file. When I see the D, it is a directory. Right. So now here there are two hyphens, file and file. So likewise, we can confirm whether it is a file or directory by using the ls-l option. We'll discuss about these things later, the permission sets. Okay. Right. So now this is the option with the ls, so that we can tell, or we can see the size of the files or directories, or we can see the owner information, or we can see the date and time when the file or directory was created, and we can see the permission sets, what kind of permissions they are having, and also we can confirm whether it's a file or directory. Right. So now here in Windows, usually we are going to, not only Windows, in OS, in any OS, we are going to see the hidden files. Right. So now when I want to see the hidden files in our Windows, we'll go to the view section. From the view, we are going to have an option of hidden items. If I select this one, the hidden items will be displayed. Right. So now here in our Linux, if I want to see the hidden file information, sorry. So now in our Linux, if you want to see the hidden files information, there the option is -a. So now here, if I give ls, this is the normal content, and if I use -a, then we are going to see the extra content. This is not there. This is not there. This is not there. This is not. This is not. Like many files are there. Right. So now here, these are the hidden files. So now here, how can I identify the hidden files? Right. So now here, simple. To identify the hidden files, the dot will be displayed in front of the file or a directory. Whether it's a directory or file, the first position will be the dot. So blindly you can confirm it is a hidden file or it is a hidden directory. For the normal content, normal files, we are not going to see any dot in front of it. For the hidden stuff only, we are going to see a dot in front of the file or the directory, right? So a blind confirmation, right? So now here, now I want to see more information about the hidden files and normal files. Then I'm going to use -l, then -a. The more information about the hidden and the normal content. -l for the long list, -a for the hidden information. So now in our Linux, when you want to use multiple options, there you don't require to give something like that. You can club together. Right. So now here ls -la, like that you can club instead of giving separate individually like this. The shortcuts, the same thing will be displayed. ls -la. When you want to use multiple options, simply use hyphen, then followed by the options. You can give it. Right. So now here, whatever the screen is displaying here, I want to clear it up. Then clear is the command to clear the screen. Now whatever the commands I have entered, I want to refer those commands. I want to see the commands. History is the option command. History is the command to see the history, whatever the commands you are run so far. History clear, ls-la, ls-ls clear, like that. And these are my previous commands. So likewise, you can see the previous entered command, the history can be observed, verified by using the history. Likewise, if you want to see the date, simple, you can use the date command. Right? You want to see the time, you can see the time. If you want to see the calendar, CL, like that. Like that, there are direct commands. Direct commands are there to see the information about our day, time, something like that. Right. So now I want to create a file now. I want to create a file in the Linux OS. Right. So now when I want to create a file, then there are number of ways are there to create a file. Usually, number of ways are there to create a file in the Linux OS. The first one is the command called touch. Touch is a command to create an empty file. Just to create an empty file, the touch is going to use, not to add a data. Okay, right. So now here, touch and the file name. What are the file you want to create? Right. So I want to create a file, suppose devops.txt. Enter. Right. So now here I have given a command called touch and with the name called devops.txt. So now what it will do? It will create an empty file for me. Where? In the current location. How I know the current location? PWD. So now in the root folder, in the root directory, a file is created. So now confirm it. To confirm ls. ls is the command, it will show you the list. Yes, the file is created. ls-l 0. Size is 0. Right? As I said, empty file is going to create. Right. So now with the help of the touch command, we can create an empty file. If I want to create multiple empty files, then what I will do, touch file1 space, file2 space, file3, like that. Like that, give a space and give the file name, so that it is going to create multiple empty files. Enter. ls. Now we can see one file name 1, file name 2, file name 3 are created. Right. So again, the touch is only for to create an empty file or files. Okay, I want to read the data of the file. I want to read the content of the file. So in the Linux, if you want to read the content of a file, then there is a command called cat. Cat is the command to read the content of a file. So now here, what are the file? Suppose I want to read the file of devops.txt. Since it is an empty file, we are not going to see any content. Right? It's an empty file. So cat application log. I'm trying to read the content of the file. Right? Some data is there. It is right. So now here, with the help of the cat, whatever the files are there, the content can be read. Now here, creating a file in another way. Okay. Now the first way is by using the touch command. Simple touch followed by the file name or files name. Now I'm going to use the another way to create a file. So now the another way of creating a file is we are going to call as redirectional operators. Greater than and less than and the greater than. These we are going to call as a redirectional operators. So greater than means write something. Write something. Greater than means. Less than means read something. So now to write we are going to use the greater than. To read we are going to use the less than in our Linux. Redirectional operators. So now I am going to use the redirectional operator to create a file. Right. So now here it is a combination. So now here with the simple redirectional operator, I cannot create a file. So now I'm going to use the combination of cat command. Now cat with redirectional. So now here cat greater than, then give a file name cat.txt. txt I'm going to give, but you can give any extension. It's not like only txt has to be given. So now the other way of creating a file with the help of redirectional operator along with the cat command. So now what is the advantage here instead of going with the touch? So now the advantage here is we can add the data while creating the file. We can pass data into the file. With the touch we cannot. With the touch we cannot enter the data. Simply it's a empty file we're going to create. So now enter. Now the cursor is going to wait for to enter some data. Here the cursor is going to wait. Yeah, Rajesh here. Hello. Hello. Rajesh, are you there?
Hi Shankar, able to hear me?
Yeah, నాకు కాల్ ఉందండి మా